the question was, since more people are online now, more people have become self-aware or conscious of their looks, and is that why they're wanting to make corrections and stuff? Is that what it is?
Now, we're just going to be honest with you people here now, right? Just as our mics were muted, I gave the most philosophical answer. It was deeper than an ocean, and it just transgressed all kind of boundaries. But yeah, I can't for the life of me recall what I said.
Of course.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Tupac lyric. No, yeah, okay. So self-awareness, self-consciousness, various reasons, but yeah, they're contributing what they're dubbing the Zoom boom down to selfies, video calls, working from home. Is it Google Classrooms, and what's the other one where you
Microsoft Teams,
Zoom, all this stuff. So yeah, a 70% increase in inquiries for cosmetic surgery.
Wow. Okay.
Now, bearing in mind, it's an astounding figure, because surgeries and stuff weren't in low numbers prior to this anyway. They were, however, slightly on the decline.
What, in the last couple of years?
In the last couple of years, certain procedures have gone down by 2 or 3%.
Okay.
So, that's a sort of pattern, down 2%, 3%, 1%, 2%, and then boom, or should I say Zoom. 70% increase. There's a tremendous amount of people waiting to see surgeons once lockdown restrictions are lifted in order to get work done.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Why do you think that is? I mean, you would have argued, well, somebody argued yesterday that when it wasn't the lockdown, people were meeting face to face. Surely they would have had to be more conscious and aware of their looks because of face to face than even behind the screen. Because on the screen, you can still play, like, I don't know, camera trickery and do the lighting effects and whatever these YouTubers do.
I think the truth is, when you're live and when you're in a work meeting, for example, you're not going to have bunny ears, or you're not going to have...
You're not going to have what?
Bunny ears.
Bunny ears.
Like the filters and stuff that... well, to be fair, as far as I know, I don't use Zoom in these places and things myself. But I'm pretty sure filters and stuff don't apply there, do they? No. And this is the other thing, I can't say it's surprising, because we've all got social media, right? In our own sort of, our personal profiles and stuff, business aside.
Yeah.
How many photos or selfies do you see nowadays? No filter.
Without filter.
Selfies without filter.
Rare, very rare.
It's become a lot rarer in recent years.
Yeah, because it's there. It's available,
fact,
isn't it?
It's so much so that when somebody posts a picture without a filter, it's a thing.
Yeah. I've got a question for you. I have a picture of you. I don't know whether there's a filter or what it is.
No.
I want to know if is this a filter or is this actually you? Is that you? Listen, don't be talking that women want these, lips doing and the nose doing. You look juiced up to me there, man.
Do you know what that was? I don't even know. I don't even know where you get these things from. Why is my beard kinking to one side? Forget about the rest of it.
Is that filter though?
No filter.
That's natural, yeah.
That's natural. Okay. But it's so rare to have a raw selfie taken that when someone does, they actually hashtag it no filter. Whereas, which is, by the way, the title of our show.
Yeah, I had to plug that in, because this isn't filtered, obviously.
Well, we can see it's unfiltered. Maybe it should be a little bit. I apologize to any viewers who were offended by that image.
Well, Sheila says, didn't quite add up for me how working from home and online interactions plays a part. I do, however, think people have had to face themselves more in lockdown, facing their internal battles. Okay. Now, the question is, are these internal battles that are exhumed and then reflected into external physical battles?
See, I'm surprised that there's people saying it doesn't add up. to me, it adds up perfectly. And yeah, do you know what? The world is in such a predicament, pandemic, panic, whatever you want to call it. So straight away, you wouldn't connect it that people were going to want to get their nose done or their lips done or their, Botox done and stuff, or their bags lifted or...
Bags lifted? Which bags?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
You said it.
Saying,
how do you not know?
Get rid of wrinkles and stuff,
those bags.
But the truth is, the people that can afford it and the people that, they're actually thinking about it, for them, that's the panic.
People used to compare themselves to Instagrammers.
Yeah.
And before and now, even more so, I believe it's a deeper issue, as Nashila says.
It's a very deep issue. And I think what we're not understanding is that however you look in a selfie or however you looking into a webcam isn't actually how you look, There's a lot more to it. I mean, how you look in a zoomed in picture or a selfie or a certain webcam isn't how you'll actually look. But then why are we paying so much heed to how the camera is making us look? Is it focusing on our nose? Is it, exposing our receding hairline and these things? And from what little research we have done or we have access to, these are the reasons. These are the reasons being presented. So
people are now wanting surgery and corrections made so that they look better on camera.
On camera. It's almost as if they're gearing up for this is life now.
Okay.
And if you flip the coin and you think, okay, we're going to come out the other side of this and you're going to have all this plastic and Botox and God knows what put into your face. And you're going to, I don't know, look a certain way in the camera. But then when the world goes back to normal or back to how it was before in a year's time, then what?
Well, we hope it's within. Yeah, we don't know. The question, as Nashila says, is deeper though. The question is, why do people feel the need to spend a lot of money to make corrections on their physical attributes, what they were born with? What are they wanting to achieve from that? Who are they really satisfying? Are they really satisfying or making themselves happy, or are they trying to keep up with the Joneses, or they're wanting to look better than the next person? Because I remember having this conversation, I think it was with you, and I remember, I think it was with you. Ladies, if you're listening, we'd love your input. Maybe you can confirm or deny this particular view or our views, because we have a difference of opinion here. And there was a conversation we were having, and we were talking about if somebody dresses up and somebody, I don't know, does makeup or whatever, let's just take as an example, just no, for not any particular reason, just as an example. If ladies are dressing up to the nines and, doing, they're really kind of splashing out, who are they doing it for? Ali reckons it's for the opposite gender. I reckon it's more for in competition with other women. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes. Yes.
So in my opinion,
but in either sense, Maj, it's either for the opposite gender or for the same gender, yeah? It's not for yourself, is it? In either opinion...
Well, Rizwana disagrees. She says it's for yourself.
Okay, now that's interesting, because now in this study, one of the top 5 reasons was for self-confidence, for yourself.
Or is that what they've told them?
Yeah. Well, obviously, we can't go into people's minds.
Yeah, but what makes them more confident within themselves? Because they look better than somebody else?
Because they're the best version of themselves.
Because they're the best version of themselves. Well, so, naturally, the best version of themselves is without any corrections. That's themselves. If there's anything added onto them, it's no longer just themselves. It's them and some silicone and some plastic or whatever, isn't it?
Who's to say? There's the most natural version.
Well, we were talking about this on the way to the studio.
Yeah.
We probably know people who have had surgical corrections done, but we just don't know who they are. We don't know that they've had it done.
You probably know people.
No, I don't.
Honestly. Yeah, you're right. That's also changed. As well as self-confidence and sort of self-awareness and things, confidence in getting the procedure done or letting it be known has also changed. Surgeries talk about having backdoor access. Yeah. So
sorry, say that again.
Not that kind of.
Well, I'm confused.
So people could
surgery.
sneak into the building.
Okay.
Yeah. Or it would be a shared building, and it would be guised. Nowadays, people post about it. I'm going under the knife. I'm doing this. I'm having my chin done. I'm having my jawline done. And they'll vlog it and blog it and all sorts. So
blokes as well.
Blokes as well.
Blokes, if you've got problem with your double chin or your jawline, simple solution: grow a beard, cut it and contour it how you want, and that's the secret.
Men actually account for about 8% of all.
8%.
8% of all.
That's a very low number in comparison.
Yeah, it is.
What does that tell us? Now, Sheila says because they don't love themselves the way they are, there could be childhood trauma involved. There's a point to this, because if you think about people who are wanting to look better, I have the question: better than who? Okay, the claim is being made better than the way they are themselves at the moment, but I don't buy that. I think there are always external influences involved, or things that they've seen, or people around them when they don't feel possibly as good as someone else, or they don't feel they look good as someone else and they want to look better than someone else. They're modeling. And how many times do we see on social media and TV people wanting to do surgery because they want to look like someone else? Because there's actually study on that, isn't there? Because loads of people come in
someone
with
else
pictures,
or something else.
People come in with pictures of people who they want to look like, or a certain attribute. I want my nose to look like his nose or her nose, or I want my lips to look like her lips, and that kind of thing. So I don't think it's always about them wanting the best version of themselves, because the best version of themselves is themselves. Yeah, without any external surgical corrections.
It's all subjective, isn't it? You can't say.
Yeah, it is subjective.
But what's the best version of you is when you wake up in the morning, first thing, and what you see in the mirror is the best thing.
No, because
you,
what I'm saying is, you obviously brush your teeth. For those people who have hairstyle their hair and do your beard and whatnot. Yeah, you dress.
So where's the line? Where are we drawing the line?
Look, it's all subjective. To that degree, it's subjective.
And this is what I'm saying. But then the next step is your grooming products, right? Then the next thing is your clothes, your attire, accessories. Now, when somebody wears nice clothes, it can be argued: is that for themselves? Is that for other people? Is that for confidence?
Rizwan is asking for an overview of the study. What's the overview of the study?
We've got some shots that we can show. Obviously, we haven't got graphs and everything because we're not a news kind of show. But this is it. Where do you draw the line? Where can you say that no, clothes is for yourself, but then makeup isn't, but then this is, but then surgical procedures isn't?
Well, that's always going to be subjective and down to the individual.
Yeah.
The question is, where is that coming from? Why do people even feel the need to make changes? And my perception is, or at least my assessment in whatever little information I have, is that it's a lot to do with external factors.
External factors being other people.
I'll come back to that. Explain this and I'll come back to that.
Right. So, this is a study by SafeFace. Injectables were the most asked for treatments, followed by more invasive procedures such as breast augmentation and liposuction. Now, by and large, UK-based practitioners say that the Zoom boom is driving interest in non-invasive facial procedures like Botox, fillers, or skin resurfacing. What was the fillers joke? I didn't get that. You posted the other day.
Oh, yeah. Somebody said, because I said hashtag no filters. He said hashtag no fillers.
No fillers. Yeah. So Botox, fillers, or skin resurfacing that correct lines caused by the facial expressions we notice on video calls, as well as to tackle wrinkles. There's also a surge in demand for neck rejuvenation and jawline contouring as people spend more time looking down into their computer's camera and focusing on those areas of their body.
So they're looking down onto the computer camera and the double chin's coming out.
This is it. The camera is always, it's going to show you at certain angles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And another interesting study is, well, I won't say so much a study, it's more of a fact. Zoom calls zoom into the center of your face or the center of, whatever is being shown.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've never really used Zoom. I don't know if you
I've used Zoom. Yeah.
Does it now? Is it? Are people?
No, it makes no difference. It depends. All depends on where your camera is. If your camera is positioned like this on the side, it won't do anything different.
Perhaps something quite easy as a fix as that. Maybe get a better webcam. Maybe sit a bit further back. Maybe don't look directly down at the camera, because you're going to see your chin.
People can't always afford to buy different cameras. Cameras prices have increased throughout this lockdown like no man's business because of the demand increasing.
I think if you can afford to remove a chin,
there's a point. There's a point. Samila says so many girls want to look like Kim K. It's true, and there are men who want to look like some male models as well. Eddie says your only competition is you, not what others think. It's what you think others think. Honestly, they don't give a yeah.
And this is the truth, is that the funny thing is, whoever's using Zoom, you're using Zoom, right?
I use Zoom. I use Microsoft Teams.
You're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
I'm giving an example. You're probably not. But when you're on a video call, more likely than not, you're the only person focusing on yourself. The other person that you're talking to
is focusing on themselves. Well, it's a perception thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So I agree with Eddie. Nobody really cares about a wrinkle on your face, or, if your nose is crooked to one side, and these things. But unfortunately, the world that we live in, and certain insecurities and lack of confidence and other things.
There's a deeper underlying issue here. A couple of observations that I've made. Number one, when you look at people who can afford to have this kind of surgery, they're likely to be people who have come from a competitive background or have had to live a competitive lifestyle. Some of these people will probably be the kind of people who, when I don't want to generalize here, but you have a trend, don't you? There are people who can afford to do better than others, and they will do it just to show others. Like, you might think to yourself, well, why is that young teenage person, girl or boy, thinking about surgical corrections? Where do they get that idea that something needs to be better than someone else? If that's the idea is to become better than someone else or look better than someone else, then you can look at their background and even look like, it's like Nashila said, it could be related to childhood experiences and traumas. If their parents have been the kind of parents who want to have the better car than their neighbors, or a bigger TV than their neighbors, the bigger weddings and parties than the neighbors and the friends and their families and the relatives, then it's ingrained in them, you've got to do bigger and better. Do you know what I mean? What are you showing to the kids if that's the kind of lifestyle that you're constantly pushing in front of the kids? That everything's got to be bigger and better. I'm just giving one example. It's not going to be the case with everybody, granted. And we're not saying everybody who has that kind of a lifestyle influences their kids to end up having go through those kind of procedures. But there's definitely, in my mind, a relationship there between how the parents or the families have lived a life which has influenced the children and what they've passively educated them to understand about life. So passively, they've educated them to understand that if you've got the money and you can go bigger and better and, whatever, than somebody else, then that's what you do. You've seen the trend in weddings becoming bigger and, and more flamboyant through competition. Someone has to have the bigger wedding. They've got to have the bigger hire car, the bigger venue, the more ostentatious settings in the venue and decorations and the food.
Your hands are in a very dangerous place right now. Speaking of bigger and better.
They can't see you on camera. So those kind of things would definitely have an effect on people's mindsets, especially the children. Second thing, if you've not given, I'm just talking about parents and children here, the next generation, because there are a lot of people in the younger generation who feel kind of compelled to post pictures of a certain kind with certain filters purely because they don't want to be seen less than anybody else, right? Peer pressure, for example. Now, if your children haven't had that love and affection and the constant reminders that they're beautiful at home, they're not going to feel that confident in comparison to a family that has been giving that kind of affection to their child. This is the reality. I make a conscious effort with my kids, especially my daughter, to continually tell her she's beautiful, she's amazing, she's my princess, to make her feel special. I do it consciously. even on days when I'm tired and I don't feel like saying anything, I'll say it because I want her to feel confident within herself, especially as a woman. You've seen if 92% of surgeries are taking place on women, then we've got to think about that. Yeah. With my daughter, I want her to be confident. I wanted her to be feeling, have that inner strength and belief within herself that she's going to, whatever she does, she's going to do it because of whatever her beliefs are and whatever her, her way of life is going to be. It's good enough. She doesn't have to compete with anybody else.
See, the thing with that is it's looking for some kind of assurance or affirmation, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you've given that affirmation at the child when they're at that age, between 6 till I think it's 12 or 13, they're most impressionable at that age. They want constant affirmation that they're doing well. If you don't give them that, they'll feel inadequate. There are higher chances that they'll, not everybody will, but there are higher chances.
This is true, but I don't think that translates to those that are having surgical procedures. If you think about it, just forget about the stats and the numbers and the data. Let's be straight here. Most people who are going to have cosmetic surgery for enhancements have been raised as princesses, have been told they're beautiful, have had photo sessions and, all kinds of things. And I'm not going to say divas or anything like that, but princesses, they've been raised pretty well.
There's a difference being told that someone's beautiful from a young age than telling someone she's better than everybody else and she's the princess. She's my princess, but you don't say she is everyone's princess. Because,
no, I don't think anybody.
No, but you are. Okay, granted, the point I'm making is there's a subtle difference with building confidence in a child to make them feel empowered and confident within themselves, then giving them the things which they should earn. And don't get me wrong, she gets disciplined. Right? Even, for, simple things, I will correct her. She doesn't get away with stuff like her brothers. I won't let her get away with it. But she will be given the emotional tools to understand and feel confident within herself, to know, you know what, she's cool as she is. She's perfect as she is. She doesn't need to make changes to her physical attributes. Do you know what I mean?
And you think this relates to people's childhoods mainly? You think that's a major factor?
I think it's one of the factors. To what extent, I'm not sure. Because a lot of it is going to be influence on what they see on social media. Instagram models, social media models, people see them. A lot of them are fake anyway. But then you've got to look at them and their lives, these models. Why is it that a lot of them, and because how far do you go? You have to keep posting stuff, either better than the last post or at least the same. And then if you keep going down that road, where does it stop? One day, your fans are going to find someone better than you. Then what's that going to do to you? How many people have felt suicidal and have mental health issues? How many people that
have been in the limelight?
Yeah.
But we're talking ordinary people who are never going to be Instagrammers or stars or celebs. These are just people that want to go to work every day. They're now having procedures because they're now conscious of their facial features, because that's where all the focus is. I tell you what I think is a major factor now is that before, it could be your insecurities and the likes thereof could be sort of covered by your dress code, how well you dress, how good you look, how you walk, how, the kind of shoes that you wear. Now the problem is that dress or that suit, because it's men too, right? That suit isn't being shown. In fact, there's talk of how many men just sit there with a shirt on and just literally boxer shorts or socks on, because it's just their face showing and maybe their collar or the shoulders. So now that you can't put on a nice suit, or you can't put on a nice dress, or you can't put on them heels, and you can't do all this other stuff, the focus is turned to your face. Yeah. Now all the attention is on your face. Now that's where your efforts have now got to be.
Okay, so now people who are on Zoom and on Microsoft Teams and on these online meetings or whatever they're doing, because they know the focus isn't going to be anywhere else on their bodies, it could be that somebody flaunts their body to distract the face. I'm just saying. You know, I saw your picture earlier on, right? And then, you know, for that reason, they feel the focus is on the face, and that's why they need to make corrections on the face. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think we don't recognize it. We made ample excuses for people wearing.
You know, on that physical attribute, sorry to cut yourself short, it reminds me, you know, when France banned the hijab, there was a girl, a French girl who was a Muslim. Was she a Muslim? Yeah, she was a Muslim. So what she did was the next day, she shaved her head and went into school, right? The press was there, you know, wanted to take interviews and whatnot, right? And obviously, some people made fun of her. Someone asked her, you know, why did you do that? And you know, how did it make you feel being in school with the shaved head? And this is a teenage girl. And check out her confidence. Check out this girl's confidence. She says, "If to please my creator, I displease the creation, that's fine by me."
Okay.
She was making a statement. She made a statement. She was completely, you know, confident with herself. She says, "You're not going to let me cover my hair because I want to. You're not going to let me wear the hijab."
Is that the issue in France? It's more the face veil than niqab, isn't it? It's not a hijab.
No, initially the hijab, I'm pretty sure it was France where the hijab was banned.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So it brings me back to the question. If you're confident within yourself, it doesn't matter, you know.
See, that's a rare example.
So Nyla says there was a study done that showed babies of women who had plastic surgery in their face, which disrupts their muscle movements, had a large development delay in recognizing emotion through facial expression.
Because they're not seeing it from their mother. You see what I mean? If your face is plastic and your child is growing up looking at your face, not being able to tell when you're smiling, you're sad, you're frowning, you're whatever, then the baby in turn won't also know how to express that same emotion.
Look, you know what? There are reasonable cases to be made for having surgical corrections. I think the question is, where do you cut the line? Or where do you draw the line? Sorry. You know, so if there are physical deformations which can be corrected, right? Then they need to be corrected. Like some babies are born with clefts, you know, the thing on top of their lip.
Yeah, we haven't looked into those. So
yeah,
the stats and stuff don't reflect that this is for aesthetic purposes. This is not, you know, NHS or hospitals as such.
Yeah.
This is purely cosmetic. This is basically the next step up from I don't know what you call it, salon, beauty parlor, you know, whatever. This is, you're right. You know, people are born with certain issues, or they haven't get in an accident, you know, or if you
there are genuine cases to be made to have surgical.
Those figures are not included in this.
We're just this is in the context of facial and neck kind of
for aesthetic purposes.
Just because of the way they look.
Because of the way they look on camera.
Okay,
that's a big number, man. 70% increase. Do you not think though that take away the heels and the shoes and the dresses and the suits and everything, that the attention is naturally going to turn somewhere, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's a bit of a factor. But the fact is, when we go back to normal and the suits come out and the dress comes out and the heels come out and the makeup comes out and, you know, everything else, we think nothing of it because we're so used to that. We're so used to people covering their, you know, lack of confidence or insecurities or, you know, whatever else, vanity, whatever else it is, with those things, that for us now, surgical procedures seem like, wow, that's a bit out there, you know? But give it a few years, now the Instagrammers, you mentioned Kim Kardashian earlier, right? Now, the likes of her would sneak to see a surgeon, yeah? Like Michael Jackson and all these celebrities, they would get Botox and things done, but it would be hush-hush. Nobody would know about it. There would be magazine covers saying has such and such had a buttock lift, or has such and such had a nose job, whatever. But now they talk about it. They'll
now it's become one of those things that it's become a trend.
It's a trend.
If you're doing it, it's like, is it like comparative to coming out in inverted commas?
No, I think that's a whole different thing.
No, I mean, like in terms of, like when people, no, I'm serious. Like, when people say that, what a brave thing to do. Do you think people shout out about the surgical corrections to win affection or, bravery, kind of?
I don't think so. I think anything, it's wanting to be a trendsetter and thinking, look, things are going in that direction anyway. So why not? People are going to know that I've had, I don't know, my ears made smaller or my chin lifted or, the wrinkles have gone, because you're photographed that many times in a day. And there's people out there whose job it is, like literally they get paid to do like before and after pictures and think, this is from last year.
Here's a question for you. Is pricing making surgery more accessible?
Yes.
It's getting cheaper, is it?
Again, going back to one of the top 5 reasons why people are having work done, one of them is affordability.
Oh, okay. So is it because it's becoming more affordable, or because they're making packages to make them more affordable, such as, you can pay in installments and stuff like that?
So
a bit of both.
Obviously technology advances and it's easier to have these jobs done. It's cheaper. Yeah. The machines are coming out of China and everything's mass produced and all the rest of it. But there's also finance packages.
I, not last year's masterclass, but the year before when I ran a masterclass in Solihull in sales, one of my delegates was somebody who does these minor kind of cosmetic corrections like fillers and stuff. I don't know what kind of, if any, license you even need to have. I can't even remember. I remember reading somewhere you don't even need to be licensed by any particular body. You need to have particular training and whatnot. And she has her own clinic. And it got me thinking, like, really, is that easy now? If you want bigger lips, you can just book an appointment with someone like that and then go into the surgery and can fill it up for you.
It depends. A lot of the procedures are non-invasive. So there's no blade or no cut or no nothing. It's like teeth whitening. There's one sort of almost looks like a gum shield, and it just, I don't know, shines some
ultraviolet
kind of UV. Yeah. And then you just wear that for 15 minutes a day, or you just go to this person who does it. Not everything is covered by a regulating body. That's a bit of an issue. But at the same time, because you're not going under the knife, it's not even a thing, is it?
True. I mean, Farzan is saying it's not always because it's not always about setting trends. It could be about insecurities. Yeah, Farzan, we've kind of touched on that, and I'm not convinced that it's always about. I think, okay, granted, if it's insecurity, where is that insecurity rooting from? Where are the roots of that insecurity?
It's always been there. In most cases, obviously, people go through trauma and other things in their life. People get older and wrinkles appear, right? That wasn't there before.
Okay.
People go through, I don't know, a divorce, and they've been married for 20 years, and now they're thinking, you know what? Last time I had to meet someone or whatever, I was 20 years younger. Insecurity, different reasons.
Okay, I get that.
So there's various things, but the insecurity, let's say, for those, it's always been there, but you've hid it through other avenues. The car that you pull up in, the clothes that you wear, these kind of things. And now it's none of that. You're stuck in your home, and the only time you're seen is when there's a camera right in your face.
Samila says the truth is most Instagrammers you receive discounts or receive treatments for free, hence they are so open about it. Is that part of like advertising?
Affiliate programs is a big thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So someone, in like a famous vlogger or whatever, Instagrammer, would say, yeah, I'm going to see such and such doctor. And you know how they try and make out that, this doctor does all the stars or all the celebrities go to him. How do you think it gets like that? 1 or 2 affiliate programs and that's it, boom.
Sorry, Rizwana's comment just made me laugh. She said, I used to get teased for my nose profile at school. My daughter headbutted me 10 years ago. Nose sorted.
Alhamdulillah. You saved yourself about $2,500 there. So
is that it?
I think your daughter should get that. It's only right. It's only right.
Well, some people's nose have been deformed because of headbutts and boxing and stuff like, boxers. I mean, look at MMA fighters and their ears, the popcorn ears.
Mm-hmm.
their ears, every single MMA fighter, professional MMA fighter, they've got like really blown up ears.
Yeah.
And boxers usually have broken noses.
Yeah, crooked or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they break numerous times throughout their career.
Yeah, so they can, so that's different, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Right? I'm just saying from generally, like some people actually have surgical corrections done, on stuff that you won't be even able to tell, like from the stats that you've read, what kind of things have been common? Like, have you got one of those screenshot things?
So we can get that up, but the non-invasive procedures are quite common.
Okay.
But injections like Botox and things, these are just through the roof.
Yeah.
The obvious ones, somewhat down. So the obvious ones, but other things. What do you
mean? Sorry, are you trying not to be explicit about some?
Yeah. So obviously, look, we go back a few years. It was all about breast enlargements.
Okay.
Yeah. That used to be the most popular one. Now,
not so.
Breast reduction is
up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on a kind of backward trend there, or back on the right path, whatever you want to call it. But now the focus is on the face. People just do not want to get older.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
When was the last time you had a wrinkle appear? Do you even notice? Would you notice?
No, I wouldn't even notice.
Would you actually not even know?
I wouldn't notice. I mean, I've noticed throughout, like, if I'm, for example, when I'm shaving, or like if I'm trimming my beard or setting my beard and I'm squinting, then I'll notice that the side of my eyes I've got more deeper lines now. Those
the
laughing lines.
Yeah,
but I'm enjoying them. I actually like them. I'm embracing everything. I'm embracing my gray hair. Think about it. At my stage, right? I don't know if you guys can tell. There's a lot of gray in my hair. So the obvious correction for that would be to put some color in it. But I don't want to.
I always feel it's a little bit simpler for men. Is that? It's not our fault, is it?
I don't know.
Because we embrace the grays. We embrace the
Well,
bald.
not everybody does. I know men who color their hair. What I don't like is this, like, the really odd colors sometimes, like
odd colors.
Like that's sometimes that some colors are like, they make some people look really odd. Anyway, I don't want to offend anybody.
I know you had an image in your head. You're just not sharing it with us.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody.
We're embracing the gray.
Yeah.
We're embracing the bold.
Yeah.
We're embracing the dad bods.
I said that at the same time.
You know. So,
yeah.
I mean, we're obviously coming to terms with it, and we're maybe somewhat better equipped. Is that the right word? Equipped or better dealing with it? I
don't know. It depends on what equipment you have with. So, if you are better equipped or not.
Yeah. Well, there's a surgery for that too. It's strange. You know what? It is strange. There's holiday packages. I think one of the listeners mentioned you can book into a 5-star hotel, get picked up from the airport in a limousine, Mercedes, whatever. You stay in this 5-star hotel for 5-6 days, a week.
Have a holiday.
Have a nice holiday in Turkey.
Yeah.
And you just come back, and all you got to do is wear a hat for a few weeks or something.
I know that's one thing I do know. I do know of people who have had hair transplants.
That I think we all know. It's so common now.
It is very common.
It is so common.
Yeah.
And there was a time where people would hide it.
Yeah.
They would wear a hat. They would maybe not come out, whatever.
Now you can see the dots in their heads and everything.
All the time. I see people with it all the time, and they're not hiding it, and they're not bothered about it.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is the numbers are just going to go up and up. It's more and more accepted.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to look back to things that were a bit weird or classed as weird a few years ago, like somebody trying to look like a cat.
Oh, there's that Ken doll, the guy who wants to look like Ken.
Ken doll? Oh, okay. Yeah, the Barbie Ken, yeah?
Ken and...
but is that a sign of things to come, though? We've already gone past the designer labels and the designer attire. Now we're on the the plastic face and all this. What's next? Do you ever think that?
It's true though. It's true, because where do you stop? Where does it stop?
I don't think it ever stops. I think there's a bit of a pause sometimes in certain cultures and societies, but after that, inevitably things are going to move on.
Let me see if I can share this.
Looking for Ken doll.
No, this is fascinating. Honestly, it's really bizarre at the same time. Let me see if I can.
Here's a question: Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Do you think that's his real hair? And do you think his skin is actually that color?
Oh, there. Ada, can you see that?
Where are we? Oh, wow. Who's she?
Yeah, it's he. It's a he. It's Ken.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the other one.
They're both the same people. It's the same person. He wants to look like Ken. Isn't that crazy? And then people want to look like cats. Oh, have you seen that guy with the who's tattooed himself all black and stuff?
Yes.
What's it called? The devil or something. It's called the devil or something, isn't he?
I don't know. But that's the thing. Look, looking like a doll or looking like an animal or being fully head to toe covered in tattoo, at the moment it's odd. Yeah. Is it only a matter of why did you gotta do that, man?
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, let's see if I wish I couldn't though.
It's odd though, isn't it? You know, it had to be the sun, didn't it?
Yeah. So
there we go. There's the guy.
You know what?
Now look at that. I mean, this is surgery on the next level, isn't it? Look at that. He's got his eyes, colored as well. Look at his nose. Look at his eyes. Look at that. The horn through his nose. Like, what is this guy on? I mean, why would you even do something like that? Surely that's not for Zoom or Microsoft Teams, though, right?
You know what the worrying thing is, Maj? People will look back at this guy and think he was ahead of his time. Actually,
there would be people think he's a trendsetter.
Yeah,
he's a trendsetter.
Yeah, he was just ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Bit of a strange one, but yeah, the confidence issues, the insecurity issues, the more sort of awareness of oneself or facial features, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's because there has been, we're living in an open world now. The world's become smaller. We have so many different people that we see on a regular basis. So many people who seem to be more beautiful. The standard has risen, but it's a superficial standard. It's not a natural standard. What beauty is, look, beauty is all subjective anyway. Someone from Africa may find a certain attribute beautiful, whereas in the Western world that might not be the case. Back in the UK, you can look through history. Back in the early 1900s, the Brits, the English, used to think that Indian women were backwards because you could see their belly button in their saris. Yeah, because their belly button was revealed. Now you've got France who wants to ban burkinis. So you wear, practically nothing. So look at how the standards have shifted. Yeah. And similarly, you have people on social media who applied filters, who had cosmetic surgery, who are photoshopped. There's digital enhancements as well, not just, physical or surgical enhancements. There's digital enhancements which make people look a lot better than they really are, or doesn't make them look like their true self. And that's what you see on social media. More and more people are finding themselves looking on social media. That's another key point we keep forgetting. Yes, they may be spending time on Zoom. Yes, they may be spending time on Teams, but they may also be comparing themselves to other people on social media because now they've got more time to spend on social media. Just another friend of mine pointed that out to me in a conversation earlier on today.
There's that, but they're comparing themselves to themselves, which is the worst thing.
Not just themselves, they're comparing themselves to all these other people.
The others I get, that's always been there. Throughout history, that's been there. But one thing that we haven't encountered before is that in the past, people haven't compared themselves to themselves. Filters, camera tricks and all this kind of stuff. It's not even the apps, even the phones are now in on it. Your phone has probably got filters in different colors and sorts. I know Instagram do it and Snapchat do it and, all these other...
Yeah.
But there's even the phones, the devices themselves, they just beautify you.
The beautifying kind of...
it just smooths everything
when you buy
up.
A new camera now, automatically it comes with the beautify option on.
Yeah, it's AI.
By default.
Yes.
By default. You have to physically switch it off.
Yeah. This is the thing. And people
so it gets rid of your imperfections and blemishes and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then it comes to a professional platform like Zoom, and there's none of that.
So the question is, do you think we're living in a world where the corporations or the big producers are pushing out a narrative that we're not good enough, we're not adequate, we need to look better, and they're giving us a model of what that better looks like to sell their products?
Another twist on it, yeah.
Yeah, think about it. Imagine, obviously, we've had this Black Lives Movement, which has helped highlight some of the hypocrisy within our cultures, where we feel that people of a darker complexion are not as beautiful as someone with white complexion. I think Majid Ali did a brilliant interview, didn't he, back in the day? Why somebody who does crime is blackmail, and he goes through a list of where
whitewashing,
whitewashing,
exactly.
And where the word black is used. But unfortunately, even amongst people within our cultures, when they see somebody who is of a lighter, fairer complexion, automatically they feel that's attributed to beauty. Now, that's all subjective. I tell you what really, just on a side note, I tell you what really pisses me off, like really, really knocks me off.
Didn't see that coming on.
I didn't see it coming either, is when people put down other people because of their physical attributes. Somebody might take the mick out of someone because they're short or they're really tall, or the heightest jokes. You must get that a fair bit.
Luckily, I'm on the right side of it, but yeah, I get it.
So
I was going to say you must get that.
Oh, I get it. I'm the last one to know it's raining. Yeah, people who pick on other people because of their color complexion, maybe because of the way their nose is designed, the color of or the size of the eyes or the ears. These are things they didn't have any control over. And on the flip side of the coin, you have people who may have traditionally good-looking features, right? Or somebody who may obviously look good, but they use that to put other people down.
Yeah.
That really pisses me off. It's like, what did you do to possess those attributes?
Question then.
Is it your achievement?
How does this make all those people look that would wear the "Only God Can Judge Me" t-shirt? Where does it leave those? Look, from a theological point of view, yeah, from obviously us and our faith, pretty much all angles of this are covered. Yeah, we don't cake ourselves in order that we don't even look human anymore. We don't expose our belly buttons, or we're not showing any parts of our body, figures, our
boggies, yeah.
Well, that is well, yeah. Don't show your boggy.
They are boggies.
So our bodies, our figure, our our hair, our so many things. But this whole "only God can judge me" thing has been around for so long. Now, those same people that would perhaps disregard their faith in so many aspects are going to look at these people who want like a breast enhancement or Botox to get rid of the lines on their forehead. They're going to say to them, what's that all about? Why are you so vain or whatever? And now the "Only God Can Judge Me" brigade is going to move on to people who are trying to look like a cat or a doll or a table lamp, or
you just have to look around you to see where you're getting your influences from. Shamim says Hollywood, Bollywood, and the modeling world, etc., has given people crazy ideas of what is perfect. People strive for perfection. If only we could accept ourselves for what we are. And I think this is the crux of the matter. People not accepting themselves for who they are, what they are, and how they look. And some of that has got to do with internal insecurities. Some of that has got to do with external pressures. And those external pressures only enhance your internal insecurities. And those external pressures could be from the likes of big corporations who want to sell their products so that you buy them to make yourself look more beautiful. There could be people who have given you some stick in the past, and as that's left a bad impression on you, or you've kind of become more aware or conscious of certain attributes because somebody's mentioned them in a negative way before. And people who have possibly not had affirmations as they were younger to confirm that, it doesn't matter, if you're, I don't know, if you, whatever the case might be. But there are a lot of external factors which highly contribute towards internal insecurities, and that's what's got to change for people.
See, the problem there is, and I think you've highlighted it with these corporations and stuff, they're looking to sell a product, they're marketing their product. Yeah. If you're saying that, look, I'm going to buy into it, but up to a certain degree, I'll have the Gucci handbag, and I'll go to such and such stylist or whatever, but I won't go so far as, I don't know, maybe putting a piercing in my body or putting what's the plastic stuff that they use? I don't know. Silicone. I won't put that into my body, but I'll carry that bag on my shoulder and I'll do the other stuff. It's where each and every person draws the line, and that line, if it's if it's a man-made line, it's always going to get pushed forward and forward.
Of course, you're never going to satisfy everybody. The thing is, no matter what you do, whether you spend thousands of pounds on surgical enhancements, whether you spend £1,000 on, accessories, makeup, whatever it is, these less intrusive kind of ways of doing things, or whatever it is.
That's a defense. Somebody would say, and it's a valid argument. I think I heard it on. Was it Good Morning or something, one of these TV shows, is that, look, I don't want to spend it on designer shoes. I want to spend it on my body. So somebody else might wear fantastic heels or fantastic Armani suits or whatever, but I want to, I don't know, straighten my shoulders or get rid of my chin or fix a few lines. I don't see the difference. Do they have a valid point? I think to an extent they do.
Yeah, to an extent, I would agree with you. To an extent, they do. The question is, where do you draw the line? I think that's always going to be the question. And I think usually people can tell where that line needs to be drawn. There's always going to be a case of cognitive dissonance in people when they know that they're thinking something else and they're doing something contravening their own thoughts. If their thoughts and beliefs are contradicting their actions and vice versa, then there's going to be cognitive dissonance. They will know it. It doesn't matter what you say. The point I think that I'm making is, irrespective of anyone's physical attributes, always remember, you're not going to please everyone. And no matter how much money you spend, and no matter how much you flaunt it, there are certain people who would prefer the other side of you, or maybe the pre-op version of you. Who are you actually pleasing? And if it is genuinely for yourself, then do as you please. But I'm rarely convinced that it's purely because.
And now, even though we disagree on that, I think the thing that we did agree on is that it's not fully for yourself, is it?
No, I don't think it is. No. Rizwana says when she went to an all-white primary school, wanted blonde hair. Mom, bless her soul, said, "Bete, the pages of the Quran, Majid, are white and the beautiful words are black." So the pages are white and the beautiful words are black.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy. So Asiya says, "I've always told my daughters, always remember what Allah has blessed you with, not what you haven't got. Say Alhamdulillah. Always look at others who haven't got what you have. For example, someone who has disabilities and can't walk, etc." And that's a good point. I think, as I was mentioning earlier, if we give that kind of tarbiyah to our daughters and to everybody, in fact, that as they are, perfectly imperfect.
That's just it. You know what? The humbler you can be, the more you'll be content. If you struggle to be humble, then what you want or what you need will only go a step further over time. Inevitably. If today you can say, you know what, everything else is good and alhamdulillah for everything, but I like my suits to be really, really good.
Yeah. Rizwan is asking, so what camera tips would you guys give to people? Okay, my camera tips is, if you've got a good camera, make sure your lighting's good, because the lighting is mostly focused on Ali on this one, but make sure your lighting is good, and don't make your camera below or facing upwards, because then that's not a very flattering image. I don't know whether I can move and show you. It's better not to have your camera here It's better to have it higher and then facing downwards, or at least eye level. That's the best camera tip I can give you within 30 seconds. And if you've got a good quality camera, even better. Obviously, it can make your surroundings look better and give you a better.
See, that's what I was expecting you to say something along the lines of, it's almost irrelevant. You know,
the question was what camera tips. That's it.
And the tip is to not look at yourself in the camera.
No, it's a camera tip. It's not public speaking tip.
That's also
speaking in the camera tip. Okay,
with the camera, the tip is not to look at yourself. Look at the person you're talking to. I mean, if you were in a normal conversation, would you?
But I can't see them.
Why can't you?
I can't.
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Oh, then look at me.
Well, if I was on my own, then I couldn't see you either, could I?
Yeah, but in Zoom calls, you're speaking to somebody.
Yeah.
Acknowledge them, look at their facial expressions, and look at how they're expressing themselves. You know how.
Yeah, and encourage them to do that to you. Maybe they're thinking that if you're telling people to do that, that's going to make them more self-conscious, because they're going to think they must be doing the same thing to me.
It takes away. It takes away you thinking, hey, is that a wrinkle? Is that a dark patch? Is that this? Is that?
Yeah.
Just talk to them like.
But then when they reflect on that afterwards, they think that I was scrutinizing everybody else. They must be doing the same thing to me, and then that brings you in full circle again. And that's why the stats are going higher in wanting these surgeries.
There's no hope, man. There's no hope. If we're scrutinizing other people's faces, then it is what it is.
Anyway, folks, we've reached 8:00, and that's the end of our show. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully, back at we are. I'll tell you what the next topic is going to be. We're going to be talking about parenting on our next topic. Our next topic is going to be about parenting and looking after you. It's going to be a 2-part series. So it's going to be parenting on one and being the child and looking after your parents, kind of intertwined. It's a 2-part show because we don't feel we're going to get enough in 1 hour for.
No, I think there's a lot to it, particularly with the first element of parenting or raising children. Yeah, it's a very deep topic. I don't know, how much we can really cover in an hour. So hopefully those listening in can.
Again, guys, have a good weekend and the rest of the week, in fact, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Take care.